Greetings, Hoop fans, and welcome to another thrilling installment of Just the Hoop. Today, we'll be counting down 10 jaw-dropping moments when the legendary Larry Bird shocked the basketball world. Whether it was unleashing a display of wizard-like creativity, sinking gut-wrenching game winners, or serving up a healthy plate of trash talk, Bird captivated audiences and left them begging for more. Right from the opening tip, the hick from French Lick dazzled fans with his blend of silky, smooth shooting touch, court vision that bordered on clairvoyance, and a competitive mean streak wider than Lake Michigan. While the Boston Celtics forward was far from the most athletic player, he possessed an almost supernatural feel for the game that allowed him to get the best of practically any opponent that dared to challenge him. So grab some popcorn, and let's journey back in time through 10 thrilling instances when Larry Legend himself was dropping jaws and sparking amazed reactions of, how in the world did he just do that? Kicking things off at number 10, we have Bird's miraculous steal against Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons in Game 5 of the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals. With just seconds remaining and Boston trailing by 1 point, Thomas grabbed a defensive rebound and expected to easily run out the clock. But he underestimated Bird's hustle and desperate desire to win. Larry poked the ball free from behind, sending a shockwave through the crowd. After Dennis Johnson calmly sank 2 clutch free throws, Larry cemented his legendary status in Beantown. The clock strikes 9 as we revisit Game 4 of the 1984 NBA Finals, when Bird went mano-a-mano against Magic Johnson and came out on top in thrilling fashion. At the start of the fourth quarter, Los Angeles held a comfortable 5-point cushion. Cue a mesmerizing shooting showcase as Bird scored 16 of Boston's final 17 points, including the crunch time game winner. Larry tallied 20 points in the final stanza and a finals record of 17 in the fourth quarter. Simply unbelievable heroics, with the season hanging in the balance. Landing at number 8 is Larry Legend's bank shot dagger that sank the bad boy Pistons in Game 5 of the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals. Locked in another gritty defense-dominated struggle, Detroit led Boston by 1 point with just 5 seconds remaining. On the ensuing play, Bird received the inbounds pass along the left baseline, squaring up against Pistons defensive stopper Dennis Rodman. Without hesitation, Larry launched an impossible high-arcing shot that caromed perfectly off the backboard and through the net just as the buzzer sounded. It was heartbreak for Detroit, but for Celtics fans, it further elevated Larry to mythical status. Gliding down to lucky number 7 is Bird's audacious display of sharpshooting in the first ever three-point shootout during All-Star Weekend, 1986. While known as a phenomenal shooter, experts questioned whether Bird's unorthodox technique would translate to racking up triples at a blistering pace. Larry quickly silenced the skeptics by not only winning the inaugural event, but doing so in thrilling style. After walking into the locker room and asking his competitors, "Who's finishing second?" Bird lived up to those words. He sank all 5 money balls before nonchalantly raising his finger in the air as his final attempt swished through. Absolute madman. At 6, we recall the iconic steal-on inbounds pass that Larry got away with right under the referee's nose to lead Boston to victory in Game 5 of the 1987 Eastern Conference Semifinals. Holding a 1-point edge, the Atlanta Hawks only needed to inbound the ball safely to escape with a pivotal road playoff win, but they failed to account for Bird's cunning and resourcefulness. Noticing his man slip behind him in Atlanta's end zone formation, Bird slyly waited a beat and then stepped back, appearing completely out of the play. As soon as the pass was thrown, Larry exploded forward, picking it off before galloping down court for the title-clinching layup. An unbelievable heads-up hustle play for the ages. Halfway home at number 5 is Larry's step-back jumper to beat the Detroit Pistons at the Boston Garden in 1985. Tied 101, Boston called a timeout to set up a final play with 12 seconds left. Isaiah Thomas shadowed Bird tightly by the left wing, denying him the ball. But Larry used a quick slide step to gain separation and drill a picturesque 17-foot pull-up with only 2 ticks remaining. Sweet revenge against his burgeoning rivals after being eliminated by Detroit the previous postseason. Vintage Bird heroics. Settling into the 4th spot is Legend's inspiring performance in the 1988 NBA Game 7 showdown versus Atlanta, just 2 days after banging his head on the parquet floor. Despite being diagnosed with acute shock and lingering double vision, Bird adamantly declared himself fit to suit up. Wearing a protective goggle that made him look every bit the gritty warrior, Bird went for 34 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists to lead Boston to a series-clinching victory. Afterwards, Larry credited the deafening Garden crowd, saying their energy willed him to push through the pain and trauma. Talk about courage under fire. At 3, we remember the iconic baby skyhook that Larry drained to beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the Lakers in Game 4 of the 1984 NBA Finals, which tied the series. As Boston held the ball for the final shot, Bird dribbled right, forcing Jabbar to shade him. But just as Kareem extended a hand to potentially block his path in the middle, Larry whirled a high, sweeping hook with his offhand that tickled the twine. Jaws hit the floor as Bird backpedaled, flashing his trademark tongue wag. Somewhere in Minneapolis, Magic Johnson's heart sank, realizing Bird wasn't going down without an epic fight. Runner-up honors at 2 belong to the time Bird posted a playoff triple-double, using primarily his offhand after injuring his shooting hand before Game 5 of the 1986 playoffs. Despite playing with basically one functioning hand, Larry racked up 19 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists. After recklessly diving for a loose ball early on, Bird miraculously adapted on the fly. He passed almost exclusively left-handed, while ambidextrously shooting jump shots and floaters with either hand to keep Milwaukee off balance and pull out the gritty come-from-behind victory. And now comes the heart-pounding moment we've all been waiting for. The number 1 time Larry Legend turned the basketball world upside down was the infamous shootout between Bird and Dominque Wilkins at the 1988 All-Star Weekend. The 2 high-scoring forwards traded shot for shot in an exhilarating display of marksmanship and willpower. But with the contest hanging in the balance, Bird calmly drained 2 last money balls before charging down court to chest bumps his opponent. While Neek posted a still-standing record of 45 points, Larry answered with an astounding 34 points in the final round, including several cards from half-court or deeper. Bravo, gentlemen, for an unforgettable duel that personified what the All-Star extravaganza is meant to highlight: the breathtaking mastery possessed by the game's greatest talents. Well, that concludes our cinematic journey, looking back on 10 unforgettable occasions when Larry Bird cemented his reputation as one of basketball's foremost legends. I don't know about you guys, but I need to pick my jaw up off the floor after reliving so many heroic moments starring Larry Legend himself. From last-second game winners to feats of ambidextrous wizardry to thrilling shootouts for the ages, Bird constantly delivered with the intensity dial cranked and the outcome hanging in the balance. Before signing off, let me quickly share 2 rapid-fire honorable mention shoutouts. We'd be remiss without at least mentioning Larry's 60-point masterpiece he hung on Atlanta during his final season. At age 35, and with his body weathered by years of battle, Bird summoned every last ounce of magic he had left to dice up the Hawks to the tune of 60 points on blistering 25 shooting. Absolutely incredible. I also have to briefly reference the Night of the Killer crossover, when Bird publicly humiliated Michael Cooper on the biggest stage possible. After the Lakers' defensive stopper mocked his age and lack of mobility earlier in the series, Bird exacted sweet revenge by faking Cooper completely out of his shoes before nailing the transition three-pointer early in Game 5 of the 1984 Finals. Priceless payback. Alright folks, that concludes this cinematic recap of Larry Bird's 10 most awesome achievements. I hope all the die-hard basketball fans out there enjoyed this nostalgic trip down memory lane. If so, smash that like button and let me know in the comments which amazing Bird moment stood out most to you. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss a future battle between two all-time great players or teams. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time with another can't-miss edition of Just the Hoop.